at least in theory. Got the cartridge right here. And I don't know if that was even on camera. But let's, where am I going to put, I need to do something where I actually put the cartridges away. That would be a good thing. But in the meantime, Berserk cartridge, Darth Vader Atari 2600. Turn it on. Got nothing. You may not even have a screen, come to think of it. Probably have to turn this on before you're actually going to see him. Because of the way that everything is set up here. Got a blue screen. Yeah, I guess it is still a blue screen. There we go. Alright, you turn it on. Got nothing. Turn it off. Pop this into the console. And we have game 1 of Berserk, which has, and we can go through here, and it's game 1 of Berserk, has about 1,000,000 point high score. We're going to aim for quite a bit less than that. And come to think of it, I don't think this one has B difficulty on this. I don't believe has Evil Auto. Which would explain one of the reasons that the world record is as high as it is on this one. What was I aiming for? 10,000 on this one? Alright. I'm actually surprised they didn't just go after it there. Alright, cool. That works. Oh. But you can still clearly die pretty easy if you're not careful. Been a while since I've played. Clearly. It shows. Alright, that works. That'll work. Oh, well. Clearly you need to be more prepared than that. That'll work. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Brassbit. Appreciate the knowledge there. Game 1, extra life every 1,000 points, no evil auto to pursue. And we've seen that they can land in a real bad spot, too. I love that some of this is very much like a slapstick sort of thing. Yeah, they can land right next to you, and that was dangerous. I need to move this microphone that I've got. It's kind of in the way of my picture. Oh, I thought that I was going to be safe there. Clearly I was not. I have to be smarter about this. Yeah, indeed, not as fun as it sounds at all. It's like you almost need to come out firing. Let's see what we can do here. I don't think they're probably programmed to shoot diagonally, though, either, in this first game. Which seems like important information. Well, that'll work. And there's safety zones that I can be in where I can shoot at them and they won't be able to hit me. shoot this, seems like I'll be alright, because I'll just... Yeah, walked right into that. Walked right into that. Oops. I got my extra life at least. Let you walk right into that. You're going to shoot at me here. But if I go diagonal, yeah, there we go. Like, I love this game, but I don't know that I've ever done much for strategy on it. That's a problem, I was going to say, but it worked out alright anyway. Run. Okay, that works. Yeah, let's just let you shoot him. Yeah. I needed that extra life at that point. Okay, you can take him out. That's fine. Okay, you can take yourselves out as well. That is also fine. How about this? Oh, you're gonna stop right there. Of course you are. Be too easy. How about this? Nice. Alright. That is a second. You clearly fire much faster than me. Here we go. Yeah, if their shot comes from the left, it just approach from the right, right? Some of these are a little too close. I was going to say, I didn't know if I wanted to risk that. I shouldn't have. That was a nice safe spot. Okay, that works. How about you? Seems dangerous. No, that works out alright. If you're right outside of their zone of where they can see you, will you shoot from the left? Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Will he shoot from the right? Nope, from the left. I wonder if they always shoot from the left if they're... Okay. If they always shoot from the left, that might... Because, yeah, like, that's from his left side. That's from his left side. Okay, from his left. That's from his left. I may have just been overlooking, just assuming that they could shoot from their left or their right. But if it's always from their left, that's vital information for surviving it. And is that always from the bottom, too? That's kind of from, like... That's from his left. And if it's always from his bottom as well... Or, like, kind of middle, lower mid... Like shooting from the hip when it's sideways. Oh, that was silly. Ran right into that. Yeah, well, that's pretty vital information, because if you know that it's always going to come from their left-hand side, you can adjust your strategy accordingly. And then it makes sense why someone can get 1,000,000 points on this mode. Especially when there is no evil auto to worry about. That'll work. That was a little tricky. glad that he wasn't programmed to shoot from the hip, or he would have taken me out right away. Alright. Yeah, I shot up. I realized that was, you could still easily lose lives just based on where they get placed. The fact that you're going to shoot from the left makes you a little dangerous here. I want to be enough of a completionist here where I, yeah. I don't think I've left a stage yet without taking out all of the robots. I didn't want to start anytime soon. Walk right into that too. There you go. Yeah, 50 points each. All robots in a maze, 10 bonus points each. Nice. So clearly it makes sense from a score perspective to do that too. And I'm pretty sure that they are programmed much like an Impossible Mission for, by Epyx, where they're programmed to shoot you one way or the other. Like, if they're programmed to shoot... Well, no, I think I saw that that wasn't the case earlier. Like, if they're programmed to shoot you vertically, they won't necessarily go after you horizontally, but that may not be the case, actually. But right here, there, he had a clear shot at me and he didn't go for me, so maybe? An Impossible Mission, it's definitely set up like that, though, where certain robots will not go after you unless... Oh, is that what it was? It was the other robot was shooting us, why? Aha! Limitations of the Atari working to my advantage there. Yeah, the missiles allowed... Yeah, that makes sense. That would make total sense. Like a missile command thing with that. Where you can't just go willy-nilly and shooting all of your payload. There's only so many on the screen at a given time. Makes sense. Ah! I ran right into that. Oh, that was not the best. Okay, how about this? Yeah, you're dangerous. So why don't I have your buddy take you out if I can here? Yeah, just keep doing that. There you go. Ah! All right. I'm in danger of this ending any second here. I was going to say, I think I just got another 1,000 points then. Can I win a shootout here? Yeah, I said, even when multiple are firing rapidly, you'll notice that they're alternating their shots. So if one shoots from across the screen, you're free to move the entire time that shot's in flight. That makes sense. And that is kind of awesome. Needed that. Ah! Hanging on by a thread here. Yeah, that did it. 18,580, which was, I believe, more than I was shooting for. Oh, really? I accidentally restarted there, but 18,580, I'm going to go pop over here. Sorry to leave you hanging in there, guys. Alright. I'm referring to my character on the screen. I'm kind of leaving him to his death. We're going to aim for 30,000 now. So let's do this again. And I believe if I hit fire, it should automatically just be game one. But again, let's just make sure. Game one. Okay. Oh, hi. That's right, these first guys don't even shoot. And they're super, super slow shots. From the manual, there's a special horizontal laser beam wraparound feature that will help you destroy robots. In mazes that have a right and left exit, you can stand just inside the right exit and shoot through. Seriously, I had no idea. I wonder if that works vertically too. Probably not vertically. That to me sounds like a programming glitch that wasn't supposed to happen, that they decided to leave in the game. That's amazing. Yep, I like that feature. And exactly like you say, better to do that than, let's see how well it works. That's phenomenal. Oh, I love that. I will totally be using that. It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's like, how do we fix that? What do you mean, fix it? That's fun. Add it in the manual. Nope. That'll work. Also from the manual, unlike you robots cannot shoot on the diagonal. Okay, there you go. If you stand diagonally to one, you'll be out of its line of fire while you... Okay. I like that. That was my own bad just for not paying enough attention. But that is consistent with what we've been seeing. We can shoot diagonal, they cannot. Pretty sure that they can in the arcade version. But I could be wrong about that. It seems like they have the ability to shoot diagonally at you in the arcade. I really shouldn't, you know... I just realized the reason that they're getting me on those horizontal ones is because they have the higher ground. Yep, I went there. And they even confirm when robots shoot on the vertical and it's from the left side, you can position your man above or below them on the right side when they can't hit you, so you can blast them. So they're giving you nice little strategies, and I, again, not paying much attention here, and dying as a result. So there's strategies involved that I just need to actually start using. Hey, there you go. Oh, that works. You can just walk into a wall. That's perfectly fine. I didn't like that. Not here for the robot lap dance. Sorry. Oh, it went through my net! I was being silly. I was not paying enough attention, and thankfully it went through my neck. We were talking about that the other day, in fact. Nice. Yeah, annoying in Tron, lifesaver here. Alright. I'm actually curious if you can win a shootout with that, but I imagine not. I was expecting to get a chance there. I'm alright with the fact that I didn't get the chance to test it. Yeah, I just waited for that. That was not wise. That's alright. Although I would say that some of their own strategies would not exactly be considered wise either. Yeah. Alright. I was hoping for that not to happen. Right. They have the higher ground. It's over, Anakin. Just gotta think like Obi-Wan here. Hi there. Reach out and touch someone with your lasers. All right. All right. Yeah, I imagine you're right that I wouldn't win the shootout for that reason. Same fire rate. That's the... Although I think you can keep it held in. I don't have to keep hitting the fire button. I can just keep it held in and I'm good. So it'd probably just be a stalemate, right? Not that I'm itching to find out, but... It's true. Confirmed. Although he paused just then. And then that happens. Yep. And then that happens. I did get greedy. It was really in the name of science. I'm just gonna say. Alright, let's be a little more careful with my lives here. That was dangerous. I was trying to see if I had enough time to get by there. That really was... That wasn't so much trying to be greedy as much as like, do I have... It said science! That'll work. Alright. Oh yeah, that was dangerous. Okay, I think I just got my extra life that I need. I didn't know if that was going to work. One extra life, but then I lose one right at the same time. Alright, you're going to come over to here. Let's get you. I feel like I can probably get in with some diagonal here. Nope, don't need to. There you go. Just do that. That's not the worst. This has got to be top 10 for, like, what? Top 10 for the Atari 2600 at least. I'm pretty sure I didn't beat my best that time. Either way, I'm going to restart it. Just hit the fire button. That should be number 1. and probably my last time that I'll try tonight. Gotta write 2 songs this week. I've got 1 song mostly written, and I've got my No Fake Friday video to complete as well, which is approximately 60% complete. Tackling an AM Gold classic this week. I was gonna not say it, but I might as well just go ahead and say it. It is What You Won't Do for Love by Bobby Caldwell. That's the plan for this week. Also a version recorded by Go West in the mid-80s. I believe on the same album as King of Wishful Thinking, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we're just gonna wait right here. He moved down. Ah! Alright. And at this point, we don't have necessarily the same fire rate. But eventually we do. Oh, wow. You can just take them out with your own, well, let's see, that's fine. Okay. Yes, I love the horns at the beginning of the original version of What You Won't Do for Love. Sadly, not playing horns, so I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do guitar and keyboard in order to play the horn line. Because sadly, I do not play real horns. I can't say that I don't play them. I used to play alto sax, but that was in junior high. I would gladly play sax again, but have not invested in one yet. But I'm not opposed. Because I would love to add some horn sections to my songs in general. Just have not invested. Cool. I wonder if that's a proximity thing with some of these, where if you're standing in a certain spot, they'll come after you. If there is any sort of AI logic involved. If you're standing in such a place that they will come after you and come after the wall. Because that seems to be the case. Like if I'm down and a bit to the right, they will walk into a wall. Yeah. Alright. Because I have to imagine that with the limitations of this system as well, it's probably the same logic for each character. So if I walk down here, I'm probably not in the right proximity, but he's going to walk into that wall now. Yeah, that you start getting, like with Ms. Pac-Man and games like that, you start getting I believe specifically that was one of the big deals with Ms. Pac-Man, is the fact that each ghost had a different AI, had a different behavior. Where Pinky would be more likely to ambush you, Blinky would be more likely to chase you. Yeah, see, I'm right there in that sweet spot. And then you guys are going to walk. And you're... okay. Too far away here, I think. There you go. Yeah, because if you understand the AI with this, you can just have them walk into walls or walk into each other or whatever, too, so... Alright, so how about if I'm right about here? Will that make you walk left? Not yet. But you'll walk up. Oops! Got too close to the sun. Careful, Icarus. Alright. Yep, right here's... I think it's an RNG on start-stop walk. Yeah, it could very well be. Okay. If I'm standing here... There you go. Ah! Yeah, they're still dangerous if you're not careful. Ah, twice in a row. Okay. Clearly I had too many lives anyway. Says the guy who keeps losing lives now, like it's going out of style. They have the high ground, alright. Oh, hi. That works. You can be taken out like that. Nope. Yep. Ah! Alright. Spoken like a true rabbit. Okay. Take you out. Go. Mr. Body Mars. The Mr. Body Massage Machine. Go! Alright. No? Alright, cool. I don't know how I was going to get out of that one, actually. Or that. Come on, let's not lose lives for silly reasons here. Simply just got to pay more attention on some of it. Welcome to 10,000 points. Okay, you can walk. That'd be good. That works. All right. That will work nicely. And I do think they keep that... Oh! That part of it from the arcade, like if I exit the screen up from the top of the screen, then I appear on the bottom of the next one, which is a nice touch. So I go from the top, I will immediately be at the bottom. So yeah, go out from the left here, shooting myself. Goodbye. Nope. Ah! Nope. Do not want. Haha, I won that shootout. Mostly because of the logic, though. There was another robot shooting. Saved by the limited number of lasers allowed to be on the screen at the same time. That'll work. You're up. There you go. Let's make you walk into the wall. Let's make you walk into the wall or each other. Nope. Aha! How about you take that? That time I had the low ground. There are some advantages to that. Okay, cool. Although, at this point, I kind of wonder if these robots were purchased at the same robot emporium as the robots from Impossible Mission. Where it's like Joe's Discount Robots. Alright. Alright. But yeah, the logic in the ones from Impossible Mission are a little more advanced. Yeah, I should have known better. He had the high ground. Well, high ground. Come on now. You can walk into a wall for me. Power of suggestion. Alright. Oh, well, I can just walk into a wall too. That'd be perfect. That seems to be great logic for them. I'll just copy them. Okay. Alright. Hey. Almost walked into the wall. If I actually can get some of my song stuff done, I would love to come back and I thought that the robots in Berserk looked like Cobra Snake Battle Armor. You know, you're not wrong about that, actually. Solid point. Although I've got to say that the use of like the rotating. Come to think of it, it's almost like Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, aren't they? With the moving like eyepieces. Yeah, they were probably meant to invoke Cylons, come to think of it, yeah. Because Battlestar Galactica was the ish around this time. Nice. But brilliant bit of programming to show movement like that. Where if they were just walking around, you know, just looked like dudes, basically. Like, you know, big bulky dudes. But with pretty minimal effort in that case, they can make it really clearly appear to be a robot. And that's super smart. My understanding, also, from my limited research on this, is that the arcade version of Berserk, the speech that they threw into that was pretty expensive, especially in, like, 1980 money. $1,000 per word. If I recall correctly. That was just silly. With a limited vocabulary, but still, where they could mix and match those words to say different phrases, reusing some of the words. And if you're spending $1,000 a word, I imagine you would want to maximize that. All right. Nope. Do not want. That was my own bad. Cannot not take the... Q*bert is what you get when voice samples go wrong. Now that makes sense. It probably wasn't supposed to sound like that, right? I don't know the trivia of that, but that would not surprise me if the voice sample got garbled, and that would make sense with it. It already kind of sounds like garbled speech, so... Oh, that's so funny. What always got me about Q*bert was, at least when I played it, and embracing mistakes, like happy accidents, is sometimes one of the ways that, like, the best things happen. Is when you're just willing to just embrace the stuff that went wrong. Again, it's a feature, not a bug. Same sort of thing. I've played at least some arcade versions of Q*bert where the sound is so loud, specifically when like Coily falls to his death there. There's the like the sound of the where it exactly, you're exactly right with Q*bert not being anywhere near as popular without the speech bubble there. I genuinely love the there's a Q*bert clone on Commodore 64 called Pogo Joe. You probably know about as much as you know about gaming history. It's really solid version of it where you have double jumps and some very cleverly named levels, because the levels have names, much the way like that Jumpman has clever level names. Space Taxi has clever level names. But Pogo Joe is a really decent Q*bert clone that I love to go back to now and then. Definitely thinking I'm going to get some Commodore 64 gaming in the near future. Like, I'm going through the Atari list to just try to see if I can get some more of my favorite games with personal best scores to top. But I'm thinking that it'll be really fun to do the same with some Commodore ones in the near future. Of course it's a knocker from a pinball machine. I didn't know that. I did not know that. But when you put that in there and say that that's the case, that totally makes sense. No wonder it's so loud. Like, it startles you. Now that you say that, that makes so much sense. And I've grown to love pinball. See, that's brilliant that it's supposed to. I mean, to me, it always felt like the character had fallen into the depths of the machine. Like they fell off, and it makes it like there's some depth to it. Like, it happened off the screen, but you hear it fall to its death, basically. Brilliant. Of course it's a knocker. That's so smart. Well, they definitely... They did it right, because it left an impression on me, and here I never realized that. Now, of course, it seems like a no-brainer. Of course they did that. That's so smart. I don't know if there's going to be a safe way. I've got the high ground here, but I've also got a wall. Yeah, I may have to... If I want to be that guy... Oh, we can just do this. There we go. Perfect. Absolute brilliance. It makes sense that one of the designers would have been a pinball guy too. That's so great. When they had it, the Pinball Arcade had the rights to so many of these great pinball machines, but they were kind of overpriced when they were available. But I went ahead and got them anyway, and ultimately at this point I'm really glad that I did, because there's a whole bunch of them. Like they're coming over to Pinball FX instead for a lot of the Williams ones, but you still don't see like Addams Family and ones like that over there just yet. What blew me away was meeting Tim Kitzrow, the NBA Jam voice announcer guy at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and he is the nicest dude on the planet for what it's worth. And I did not realize he was the voice of a lot of those. Like, he's the voice of the Dracula-style character in Elvira Pinball. He is the voice of Rod Serling in Twilight Zone Pinball. One of his first voiceover gigs was as Mr. Howell in Gilligan's Island. Where it's like, can you do a Mr. Howell voice? And yeah, and he did. Yeah, Tim is really great. Damn. Took a chance. Took a chance and it failed badly. Alright. I was thinking I might even play some pinball on this channel as well. What you cannot see is to the... no, a lot of... You're right, a lot of the voice actors are pretty damn nice. That's been my experience as well. Not that I've met a lot of them, but the ones that I have met definitely fit what you're saying. But just to the left, I'm playing this on a JVC tube TV, and it's a very large, classic, original tube TV. I'm feeding that into a capture card that's taking it to widescreen, and then I'm bringing it from regular through a VCR. So it's square to rectangle and back to square again. If I look to my right, I see the same game in a rectangle, but it is enough of a delay that if I tried playing on this big screen, I'd get killed. It's too much of a delay. But just to the left, what you also cannot see is a big screen that I'm reading the chat on over here, is a big screen that's set up vertically. And it's purposely set up vertically because pinball. And other aspect ratio games like Donkey Kong and ones that are meant to be played in a vertical aspect ratio. So I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly. Is as it should be. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how I would end up setting up the aspect ratio for something like that for streaming, but I feel like it would actually work out all right. So pinball would probably be another thing I might start doing on this channel as well. But if I did that, then I'd have to set up a different screen for the chat. Probably the one to the right there. It is a room of screens. I will say that for sure. Partially because the cost of these has gone to being so reasonable. Nice. What sort of ones do you end up playing? I haven't actually checked your channel out yet, but I'm curious. Like, you play retro stuff, right? Is it like MAME? Are you playing console stuff? MAME, a little bit of everything? Like, what's your forte? I'd imagine there'd be a lot of interest in MAME, especially. Nice. Yeah, a little bit of everything I think is probably not only a good way to go. Ah, weak. My own fault, but weak. Ah! Come on. Stop being so dangerous with your lives here. He said to himself. I think I was aiming for 30,000, right? I think I've now done that. So we'll go for 40. 24-hour extra life once a year. Atari consoles during it. Very nice. I can just hang out at the wall. It makes sense to kind of use the walls to your advantage when you can, too. Nice. That's very cool. I was going to set this up in such a way where I'd be able to type out what my goal was and not have to leave my seat here. Oh yeah, Bagman, that's right. We were talking about Bagman. I would love to go through. You know what would be fun with that? Is the Commodore 64 version of it. Which is surprisingly a lot like the arcade. Like, it is an excellent conversion. Which I imagine it's not necessarily a conversion, but it's that's not the word I'm looking for. But the rendition that they did for the Commodore 64 is really, really solid. I may have to... Maybe I'll do that later this week. That was fun. It's like, I'm going to run now. Alright. See, they're that same color of like golden yellow that the first guys are that don't shoot. Yeah, different versions of the same game. I've seen a number of YouTube channels that do that too, where they show different versions of the same game. Absolutely. Here's what Pogo Joe looked like for the Atari 800. Here's what Pogo Joe looked like for the Commodore 64. That's probably about it for Pogo Joe, but I've seen ones like that. The Donkey Kong, the differences on Donkey Kong are hilarious in some cases. And I have yet to own an Atari 800 or 400, 800, like one of those computers yet. I have a couple of cartridges that I ended up getting from friends who, again, just like here, take these old games. But I have no way of playing them. Nice. Proper broadcast setup and have the video and audio. Nice. See, and I imagine that the Atari 8-bit line really is amazing. And I've read about, like, I think it's, what, the XE, which is basically just an Atari 8-bit computer, but with no keyboard. And again, at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, they've had the Atari 8-bit computers for sale with ridiculous amounts of memory and all of that, too, which I thought, refurbished as well. All the best of the 5200, but the controller of the 2600. See, that sounds fantastic to me. I really should do that. And I think one of the ones that I've got a cartridge of is Miner 2049er, and I'm a fan of Bounty Bob Strikes Back. So I imagine that the Atari 800 version of that is probably pretty solid. I mean, I probably could play the emulated version, but... Let's drop down. Come on now. Oh, wow! So, oh, that's funny. You got Miner 2049er sitting right in front of you. Like, I want to get a quote-unquote legit copy of Bounty Bob Strikes Back, but the floppy disk version of it especially is prohibitively expensive. Not as expensive as the 5200 version, but prohibitively expensive and not easy to find. They don't go on sale very often. Because while I know that I can go for world record scores with ROMs, if I'm going for one on the hardware, I try to... I like using the legit copy of it if possible. Like on Twin Galaxies, I'm pretty sure it's allowed where you can actually use like the like floppy floppy emulators and stuff, like the SD card floppy emulator, which is definitely how I have most of my games for the Commodore. But like I set a world record for the Goonies on the Commodore, and I bought the floppy. I bought the legit copy of it. And to me, that was worth it because I grew up loving that game. One of the only times I remember renting a Commodore 64 game from a rental place. And I did not want to have to take it back. That was especially fun to stream too, because I had a Halloween skeleton sitting next to me with the eye patch like One-Eyed Willy. Oh, come on now. Oh, that was a little too dangerous for my liking. There you go. Prodigy Disc and a hole punch solves the whole return in a disc issue. There you go. There you go. Depending on also how good the copy protection was on it, I guess. And I don't know how good Datasoft had that. I definitely did not have the Prodigy disc at the time, I can tell you that. Had like Fast Hack'em and some of those. Alright. There we go. Oops. Okay, that worked. Maybe we may get to 50,000. Maybe. Unless I make a boneheaded move like I almost did. I was going to say, they're going to trap me though. Yeah, that was bad. You start when they're close enough, you gotta make sure that you're not getting too close, I guess. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Living on the edge here. There you go. Ah! Come on now. You'd think that I would know better by now. And yet... Like, I imagine it makes it more interesting to watch, potentially. Maybe. And there's the potential for mistakes to be made like that. Boom. And by and large, I just wanted to try to get legit floppy disk versions of a few of these anyway. And so Bruce Lee was one of them that was near the top of my list. So when I added that to my collection, I was pretty pleased. For me, I'd say Bruce Lee's probably top 10 Commodore. Probably. And then I tried to get a world record on that one and realized that I'm nowhere near in the right league of players for that one. I would definitely have to get some better strategy before I would have a prayer of actually going for a world record on that one. Like, a number of the ones that I've done world records on is ones where you don't necessarily... It's more of a marathon. You can make mistakes and it's not going to end your game. Like E.T., I made plenty of mistakes. But I had It was basically a marathon session where I played for 8.5 hours. That's what led to the score. And that's going to be dangerous, even with the high ground. You gotta go. Okay. I'm just starting to shoot to the left or right just to be sure. Oh. And I bought a cassette version of Hover Bubber, which you might be familiar with. It's where you steal your neighbor's lawnmower and mow the grass in a Pac-Man style game. It's very funny and actually quite fun to play. Yeah, Hover Bubber's legit. Really good game. And then I bought that and... Oh yeah, so you... Wow, that's one of them you haven't heard about. No, it is a Pac-Man style game for the Commodore where you, again, your character, it's not like you steal the neighbor's lawnmower. The character has, like, yeah, Jim won't mind if I borrow his mower. And then Jim is now after you trying to get his mower back. And a second neighbor gets involved if you run over the flowers. If you run over his flowers, then he comes after you, and then you have two people chasing you instead of one. And then there's the family dog, who is at your disposal as long as he feels like being obedient. But after a while, the dog's obedience runs out, and then the dog is also after you. Now, that's understandable. It sounds like growing up, you had the Atom. And I spent so many countless hours on the 64 that that's one of the things I really do want to start showing on this channel is some of the ones that you don't hear about as much. Because again, when people talk about the video game Crash of 1983, not a lot of folks talking about the home computers of that era, which I think is a lot of the reason why parents especially probably were not buying much in the way of like Atari games. If like, why should I do that when I can do this Commodore thing and they can also do their homework on it? You know, we can use budgeting software where all this thing does is play video games, and the new video games that are coming out for it aren't very good. But that they have these great video games coming out on the Commodore, plus we can use it for other things. Like, to me, that seems like a no-brainer as far as why that started happening. It's just the limitations of a piece of hardware, like it's a gaming console that you can only play games on it. And I don't hear that get mentioned a lot when people talk about the video game crash of 1983. But I think it was a pretty big factor. It's not like video games didn't exist. They just, you know, home consoles weren't really the thing. There were still plenty of really great games being made and played. It's just you didn't find them on any sort of a home console until the Nintendo. Once the Nintendo came and started ruling them all again. Yeah, I'd heard about that as well, that Europe was big into computers versus console, the US was not, yeah. Yeah, over here it's just, dude, just computers. Once that hit. Like, who's gonna buy an Atari now? And it didn't hurt that at that point you have Nintendo making new types of games that were pretty revolutionary. But the same could be said for some of the stuff that you were seeing on the home computers at the time. It's the forebearer of that. You get something like Retro Gamer Mag and they wax poetic about their ZX Spectrums and the BBC. Yeah. And I've never owned a Spectrum. I wouldn't mind getting one, but obviously there's the color limitations now. That I feel like if you grew up with one, that there's especially nostalgia to that. Well, I'd be quick enough. I was not. Not even hardly thinking about it at this point, but here I'm already past 50,000 now. And yeah, it seems like you can get close enough to the wall that your bullets disappear into the wall. It's not a good thing to have happen. Saw that happen once, I believe, during this particular session here. Yeah, there you go. This part also reminding me of what came later was Archon. Would have been like this plus chess-style strategy. Yeah, in the US there were so many different PCs that the computer nerds didn't even agree on what to gather around. That makes sense. Parents were buying any old computer. Yeah, and it's true. Between the Atom and the Tandy and all of the Commodores, not just the 64, but the VIC-20 and the PET, and you have Apple II in there as well. Ah, weak. Okay, well that works. Ah, weak. So weak. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, without a doubt, this will be my last game this evening for this one. Whatever my score ends up being in this will be what I go for. Oh, really? Again, that's not about being unfair. It's just me not thinking about it once again. trying to keep it interesting by not being smart about my lives. How about you will run into this wall? Nice. Do. Yeah, I almost did it again, too. And then I did that. Nice. Very nice. All right. I think you could get to a point where you're like, and yeah, that's going to be dangerous. Okay. Approaching from the right is the way to be. Why don't I just line up? Oh, no. Oops. Oh, that was dangerous. That was dangerous. Okay. Goodness gracious. Skill, sure. That works. I could say skill. I can almost mean it. Ah! This is getting too dangerous right here. I got into 60,000. I'm happy with that, but I'm not going to. I was going to say, I'm not going to last if I keep that up. I will take that, though. 60,990. I'm going to go type that in over here. I more than doubled what I set out to do. All right. As I almost trip on all of the things, yeah, it's... Whew! Yes, thank you. Now, that was good fun. I definitely think that when it comes to the ones that Atari made, especially, if you are only looking at those, there's no question Berserk belongs in the top 10 of those. But possibly the top 10 of the best games for the system overall. You start opening it up to Activision games like Pitfall and River Raid, and even Pitfall 2 for that matter, and it starts getting a little fuzzy. So didn't want to distract you, but your video cut out and blinked and changed colors from 30,000 to the end. Really? That's intriguing. I don't know why that would do that, but... Oh, I see the blinking. I see the blinking right now. Thank you for letting me know, because that would have probably distracted me too, so I appreciate you not saying anything at that point. But I may have to look into why that is. And this has nothing to do with anything that we were just discussing. However, if you haven't seen it, and I think that you're probably in the same age bracket as I am, and wait for a good 15 seconds audio stayed. Okay, good to know. I will, when I review the tapes, so to speak, I will look for that and see if there's anything that I can do on my end to make sure that it's less likely to happen later, but probably just a glitch. No, on archive.org, there is the first day of MTV is something that you can now look up there, where someone even went through and remastered the audio. I recently watched that for the first time ever, because I didn't have MTV on the first day, of course, that it came out. And it's very fun, because you obviously okay, see, you've watched it. There you go. I was amused that the first commercial is for a binder called the Bulk. I was amused by REO Speedwagon's Take It on the Run being the first music video to have a glitch in it about 15 to 20 seconds into the song, where the screen goes to black. Like that stuff, the commercials of that era and in a couple of cases, even songs that I had not heard before that are going in heavy rotation for me recently. I'm a fan of Todd Rundgren, but I had never heard the song Time Heals, which is one of the videos that plays on that first day, and with its trippy, fun music video for the time. That was a good one. And Mr. Briefcase by Lee Ritenour was another one that was a revelation as well. So I don't know why. I think that came to mind because Time Heals by Todd Rundgren is currently stuck in my head. All right. Yeah, that's going to do it for today. You were watching live for the first 2 to 3 songs, but it was more your sister's thing back then. They talked it up for a month, and you appreciate it much more now than then. That makes sense. That's cool that you got to end up watching it on the first day, even if you didn't appreciate it much at the time. Yeah, and the first 2 to 3 songs, that's history in the making there. Now that they're going to have this Paramount Plus, it's Viacom, and I had no interest in having another streaming service, but they had a half-off sale for the year. So instead of costing $60 for the year, it's $30 for the year. And I thought, I will go ahead and throw $30 at this, where there is like some classic MTV in there and Nickelodeon and some other stuff. There's likely to be good enough programming over the course of the next year to justify a $30 expense. It is with some limited commercials, mind you. It's like Hulu has the version with commercial without. But that goes away. I think it's only the next 24 hours that sale's going. This is not sponsored by Paramount Plus, for what it's worth. It was just an observation that I made. But you have to sign up before it becomes Paramount Plus. Right now it's CBS All Access. If you sign up for the CBS All Access, then it becomes Paramount Plus in about 24 hours, because they're going live with it in one day. So tomorrow it'll be that. I am specifically thinking that it'll be fun that they're supposed to be bringing back some programming for MTV, where they're bringing back Unplugged. Apparently, they're bringing back Behind the Music. These I love Behind the Music. I tend to enjoy the Unplugged series. If they have classic ones of those, then that'll be even better. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. All right. Yeah, they're bringing music back to music television. That's crazy, right? No, they certainly haven't been doing that on the channel itself, but by having it as like an on-demand service where they have all of this stuff just lying around in the vault, why wouldn't they use it? If it entices people to spend money on their service, then I feel like they may get me with that. And Yo MTV Raps, which at the time I definitely enjoyed my hip hop. And that led to some of my appreciation for oldies stuff too, because you hear a song like "Sons of Third Base" by Third Base and then have to listen to oldies music in the car. And I heard "Blood, Sweat, and Tears" Spinning Wheel, and was so blown away by the fact that I recognized it from this other thing. So then it becomes like a game in and of itself. It's like recognizing the sources of these samples. Became kind of a fun game in and of itself. And again, I have no idea what started me on this topic, except that I guess it's in my mind, because I'm going to be curious to see just how much of that content they bring over. All right, that's it for now. Thanks again, Brassbit 2. Appreciate you hanging out. And we will catch you next time there. Yeah, thank you. I've been having fun. I need to return the favor and try to watch some of your channel as well. Admittedly, I don't get too much of it because when I'm not streaming, I'm making music and working on goal-based projects where I have deadlines. And so more often I'm working on something behind the scenes where I look at, oh, it's 9 p.m. Oh, it's midnight now. That's what ends up happening a lot of the time. Which is why I'm doing this stream now. It's like, well, I'm going to take some time to just relax, even though I'm still broadcasting it and everything. So, all right. Have a good one. yeah, there isn't much to see, but that should change in a few months. Well, I will look forward to at least looking back on some of your streams that you do have up once you do that. Thanks again. Have a good one.